Thomas.
Thank you, Council President. And like many of my colleagues, I want to thank the mayor for the budget address today. It's a process that we know is going to be very tedious and very engaging over the next several weeks, really couple months. But I do want to echo the sentiments of some of my colleagues. I'll start with Councilmember Johnson. I agree with Councilmember Johnson when he talks about this issue of gun violence, and also agree with Councilmember Green when he talks about us needing to be bolder and to take things a step further. And I think, again, a lot of my colleagues on council, I look forward to working with you as we engage this issue. But I do want to reference something that Councilmember Jones talked about earlier, and what he talked about around Black institutions. I think it's an important issue that's not getting the attention that it deserved. A little while back, we introduced a resolution to hold hearings around this issue and some of the practices. And since that resolution has been introduced, we've been actively working along with the chair of the Education Committee, Councilmember Sanchez, to try our best to put us in a position to be able to address this issue. And unfortunately, right now, I just don't feel like we're trending in a direction, and I'm not going to communicate it as eloquently as Councilmember Jones did, but I just don't feel like we're trending in a direction where we're being consistent in saying that these, I guess you could say, bad practices have happened in the past, but then simultaneously keeping those same measures in place. We're making, I guess what you can say, executive decisions, to paraphrase what Councilmember Jones talked about, as it relates to how we operate and how we decide. Ended up with 85% of those institutions that have been closed by this city, all being Black and brown-led institutions. So I'm going to continue to raise the bells and whistles when it comes to this particular issue, because when we're talking about the racial disparities that exist, whether we're talking about it in the form of criminal justice reform, like we spoke about earlier, whether we're talking about it in the form of jobs and equity, as far as what Councilmember Parker talked about earlier, or if we're talking about it through the lens of education, we have to be consistent in our advocacy. And I think right now we're seeing some levels of inconsistency. It's very difficult to continue to scream various phrases and to say we want to advocate for people of color, but then at the same time, not do things that are within our control to be able to be reflective of that same feeling. So thank you, Councilmember Jones, for your support, for highlighting this issue. I know that some of the institutions that are in question are in your district, and some of the institutions that have been closed are in your district. And I look forward to continuing engaging all parties as we figure out what are we going to do about this problem that's disproportionately impacting Black people in Philadelphia. Thank you, Council President. I appreciate the opportunity to give remarks.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you so much.